Welcome back to the show this week. We've got a fantastic guest as we continue our New Jersey Lefties with Draft Prospects series. It's Frank Doelling this week, Rider University, after a great 2021 season, NCAA Tournament appearance. Talk a bit about his summer, what he did, where he ended up, and a look ahead to what should be a fantastic 2022 for Rider, for the MAC, for New Jersey baseball, and hopefully culminating with a draft announcement in the end of June. But we've got some time ahead to that. First of all, welcome, Frank, and thank you for coming on this week.
Yeah, thanks, Walsh. Definitely thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be on here and do this. So
we might sneak in some Jens talk too. Frank's one of the all-time great Jens. We dumped him. We got rid of him after 2019 and won a championship without him. Or in spite of that, we still managed to win. But certainly somebody who always is going to mean a lot to us. Let's start with the end of 2021. Rider season, ups and downs during the regular season, but you guys really picked it up in the end. Got to the conference tournament, had a great weekend at home. Not weekend, but first round at home. You pick up the win against Niagara, right?
Yep.
And then head up to Fairfield, win the championship, and take it from there. Your experiences going down to Ruston for the regionals, what that meant to you, and then the chance to throw against probably the biggest school you've pitched against at Rock, being Alabama P5 SEC school.
Yeah. So I mean, this season was so weird, man, just with like COVID and everything. Probably in the fall we had like 2 shutdowns, and this like in the spring before, the game started, we had another one. So, we didn't know what to expect this year, especially with playing conference only. Our goal was just, get through the season without like, any cancellations or anything like that. We just wanted to play a full baseball season after getting last year canceled. So, the regular season, it was definitely an inconsistent regular season, to say the least. We had some good weekends, we had some bad weekends, and especially going into the tournament, you want to be the hottest going into the tournament, playing your best baseball. And we had played a weekend series with Siena about the week before the tournament, and they beat us 3 out of 4 games, and they shut us out 3 times. So, there was a lot of frustration because of that. So, I mean, just going into the tournament, we had gotten the 3 seed and drew Niagara, and I don't even know how to explain it, man. I guess we just, kind of just snapped our fingers and just flipped the switch, because that weekend, we played some of our best baseball of the year. The bats were as good as they were all year, and we beat them pretty handily. So, I mean, after that, we go up to Fairfield in the MAC tournament, and we drew Monmouth, and against them this year, we split against them. So we knew that it was going to be a battle. It could go either way. We just had to play our best baseball, and it was tied late in that game, and we ended up scratching across a couple runs in the 8th to take that one away. And then Canisius, they just upset Fairfield in the first round, gave them their second loss of the year. So they were playing with a lot of confidence, and yeah, I ended up throwing that game. It was a battle, man. I had to grind my way through 6 innings, like 120 pitches. And we were down like 2-0 going into the 8th. And Jordan Irby, had a clutch 2-run single to tie it up. And then they ended up scratching across the run in the 9th. And then, it was like, we've been here before, against Monmouth late in the game. So, yeah, we ended up getting a couple guys on, and then my man Johnny Volpe, coming up, pinch hit. Again, shout out to Coach Davis, pushing the right button, putting him up to the plate. And I remember watching him that at bat, and I could just see him like smiling, like during the whole at bat. And I'm like, dude, like we're 2 outs away from going in the losers bracket, and you're smiling at the plate. So, I mean, I could just see that confidence in himself, and we had that confidence in him. And then he got that big hit, and it was just like pandemonium after that, just running onto the field and, just securing a spot, knowing that whoever has to play us in the championship has to beat us twice. And, it was crazy. Like that, from that point on, it was, we're going to win this thing. It was just like, we felt like we were a team of destiny. And then we ended up, getting Fairfield in the championship, and they swept us in the regular season, outscored us like 28-3 in 4 games. But I mean, just the way we were playing, it just felt like nobody could beat us. And, in the championship game, Joe Papia threw a great 5 innings. And then, the bats came out of nowhere, just hitting 5 home runs. Like what is that? It's just like not real. It still hasn't sunk in yet,
You guys were a small ball team up until like the 4th inning of the championship game, pretty much, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then, just Kyle Johnson hit a homer, and then, Scattini hit one and had like an unreal bat flip. And it was like, all right, like, we're going to win this thing. Like there's nobody that can beat us like the way we're playing. So, I mean, we ended up going up 7-2, and then the rest is history, winning the MAC championship. It was just unreal. And then, so, at that point, we're excited that we know we're going to a regional. Fairfield, they had to sweat it out, hoping they got an at-large bid, but it felt good. No, we were just sitting pretty. We had a bid, and like I remember, me and my buddies were talking about like some of the regional sites we wanted to go to. Like, who knows if we'll ever be back in that situation. So, I mean, we wanted to go, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, one of the Power 5 schools, just because that would be a sick experience. And then
you look at what NJIT got out of going to Fayetteville. So yeah, any of those
exactly
amazing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I remember just sitting there with all the guys on a Selection Monday, just watching the show, and we saw NJIT get sent to Fayetteville. So we were like, all right, we're gonna go someplace pretty cool. And then I remember seeing Louisiana Tech regional come up, and I just remember watching it. I was like, all right, they're not going to send us here. Like, they're it just what didn't cross my mind. And then all of a sudden I just see Ryder up on the TV. I was like, whoa, like Louisiana Tech. I mean, at Louisiana Tech compared to the other schools, it doesn't sound as fun, but I mean, when we got down there, it was just like, it was unreal. They were calling their field the Love Shack and everything like that. Their fans were crazy. And, so we got there. We actually flew down with NC State. NC State had a heck of a run this year. It was just fun watching those guys. So, yeah, we go down there, and, we play Louisiana Tech on Friday night. And, we kind of ran into a buzzsaw a little bit. It was their first, time ever hosting a regional.
Yeah.
And, there was 3,000 fans there, and it felt like there was 10,000 fans on you. And, yeah, like I said, we just ran into a buzzsaw, and I feel like it was just one of those games where, we were just like happy to be there. We were just kind of taking it all in. We were kind of in awe of the atmosphere because, I mean, being from Ryder, a small school in New Jersey, like none of us have played in an atmosphere or a game of their state.
And in a COVID year, you didn't even get fans until the postseason, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, even in the MAC tournament, we were playing maybe in front of like 200, 300 fans. Yeah. And then
you go from like 500 people total all year to all of a sudden, 5,000, and it might as well be 20,000.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was nuts, man. Tip the cap to Louisiana Tech. They were a heck of a hitting team. They put it on us. So, yeah, so getting to Alabama, we played them the next day. They had lost to NC State before we played Louisiana Tech. So, I mean, I just remember the night before, just sitting in the hotel room, just watching all the like the other regional games that were going on, and I was like, wow, like I'm really going to pitch in a regional tomorrow against, one of the top SEC schools in the country. And I mean, I remember just thinking, like I'm not going to back down from this. Like I've been waiting my whole life for this. Like I'm not going to be scared out there or anything like that.
With you, I mean, the one thing that I don't want to call it a knock. It just hadn't had the experience yet, but it was always like, all right, ridiculous numbers in high school. Oh, but it was at Riverside. It was a Group 1.
Right.
All
exactly.
Right. Great freshman year. It was at JUCO. It was at Rowan Burlington. It was, a good but a decent program.
Right.
And then, but keep backing it up every year, and then Ryder, but it's a MAC school. Like this was, I think for you, this was like, this is my moment now to just kind of, I don't want to say shut everybody up, but like, hey, look, this is now I'm doing the same thing on in the NCAA tournament against a P5, an SEC team.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess, coming from small schools like that, Riverside, RCBC and Rider, I guess, I kind of always just had like that chip on my shoulder, I mean, I guess I never really got like the respect that I thought I deserved, because I mean, I was putting up good numbers, but I mean, I understood it because it was against like, lower competition, I guess. So, I mean, that was just my opportunity, on a silver platter. And just going out there, like I said, I wasn't going to back down. So, just getting on that mound in the regional in that first inning, it was like, all right, like we're here, let's do this. Let's show people, what we're made of. And, that game, it was just like, I didn't even have my best stuff that day, to tell the truth. I mean, I walked 5 guys. My strikeouts, weren't as high as they normally are. I mean, that probably attributes, Alabama being a great hitting team. Those guys, they had like 3 or 4 guys get picked in the high rounds. So, I mean, I was happy with how I pitched that day, knowing that I didn't have my best stuff and I was able to compete with them. And, I mean, it was just a battle. Like, I remember the 4th inning, it was like 2nd and 3rd, no outs. And, we ended up getting out of it. Volpe made a great play, cutting down a runner at the plate. And then, there was like a controversial interference call that ended up going our way. And, eventually it ended up getting into the 7th, and it was still 1-1. So it was like, all right, like, we got a shot to win this game. And, it kind of just shocked the world, knock off Alabama. But I mean, they got a couple hits late, hit a big home run. And, I mean, we lost 3-1, but just the fact that, we were able to compete with a school of that caliber, just shows that, if we were to get back next year with our team, like, there's no reason why we can't win a regional.
Yeah. And knowing you're still, I mean, yeah, it was so many positives out of that, but you're never been a moral victory kind of guy.
No.
So how do you take those lessons, right? Because you're like this close to beating a Power 5 team in the biggest game of the year for you.
Right.
How do you guys as a team take that and then go into 2022 and know you're going to have a conference with, Monmouth is going to be stacked and Fairfield's going to be still really good. And Marist, you can't forget about them. They're really good. How do you take those lessons and go into 2022 and take the next step?
I mean, just taking that experience from being in a regional this year, I mean, there's definitely a lot of great schools in the MAC. The MAC is really on the map, especially, getting 2 bids in the tournament this year. Yep. Monmouth having the great pitching staff that they have, and, Marist, Canisius, there's a lot of good schools in the MAC. It's going to be really competitive, but, I just feel like having that experience in those big games and, knowing how to win and bringing most of those guys back, I feel like that gives us like a huge advantage, over the other teams. Cause, we've been there, like we know what it feels like. And of course, like we're going to have a target on our back now, because all these other teams, they want to go into regional too.
But
and I mean,
but that's fun. That's
good.
Yeah,
definitely. We go from being the hunter to the hunted. So, I mean, we're going to have to get used to that, but I mean, I don't think it's anything we can't handle. I feel like we have the guys back in order to, make another run at the MAC championship. And, it's just going to be a lot of fun. I just can't wait, man.
So that, great experience, chance for you to pitch on your biggest stage ever, right? We go in the off season on a high note. You throw a lot of innings. Kind of the plan is to shut it down, rest it a little bit during the summer, come back in the fall. But plans don't always happen 100% the way they think. So let's pick up, late summer, late July, and you get a call and tell us about your experiences the rest of the summer.
Yeah. So, I mean, we had our exit meetings when we came back, from Ruston, and, I sat down with Coach Davis and Coach Petrowski, and I was supposed to go down and play in the Valley League in Virginia, but, throwing a lot of innings this year after not throwing last year, they advised me, it'd probably be best, shut the arm down for a little bit, just hit the weight room, get bigger, stronger, and just come back healthy in the fall. So, I was cool with that. And then I ended up picking up a job at Rider because the Trenton Thunder were playing there. So I was doing like grounds crew and stuff over there. And then one day, Coach Petrowski, texted me and he said, yeah, when you get back to the field, just come talk to me. So I was like, all right. So I go back to the field and he's like, yeah, I just got a call from the Cape. Like, would you want to go pitch down there? And, it was just like, I was not expecting it at all. I was not expecting him to say that. And I mean, I had just picked up my throwing about a week before that. So I was just starting to get back into the swing of things. But when he asked me that, like the first thing I said, I was like, yeah, like when do I leave? So like, I've been wanting to pitch in the Cape my whole life. It's just, that's where America's best go and play. So I of course wanted to go up there. So, I ended up going up 2 days later to play for the Bourne Braves. And when I got up there, they were like 14-2. They were the best team in the Cape. So I was like, all right, so, this is actually happening. Like, this is legit. I'm playing with some of the best guys in the country. So, yeah, just going up there, just going to the first game, there was like probably 2,000, 2,500 people there for a summer league game. And that's just unreal, and, just sitting in the bullpen, kids are coming up, running up, we're signing like 10 to 15 autographs a night. So it's literally, living the life of a pro baseball player for the 2-3 weeks I was up there. And I mean, I built relationships with those players from like all those big schools from around the country, just being able to pick their brain, trying to pick things up that they do in their, daily routine that I can maybe incorporate. And, I mean, just those 3 appearances I had out of relief, I thought I did pretty well for, not throwing for like a month before that. My goal was just to go up there and attack. It's wood bat league. So, I mean, odds are, I'm not going to get hit around if I hit my spots. So that was just my goal, to just go up there and, just shove. And especially with there being like 20 to 25 scouts at every game, like cross checkers, assistant GMs, all those guys, I just wanted to show out and, kind of just put myself on the radar a little bit more.
So coming back from there, right, you get the chance to perform in front of the best, scouts and big crowds every day. Obviously the goal is to get your name called at the end of June next year. Where do you feel like, based on how you're throwing and what you might have heard and things like that, what's the plan? What are your goals to get to make sure you're at that level? Where do you think you got to improve your game, and what's sort of the plan now going into the fall to do that?
Yeah, so going in the fall, I've been hitting the weight room harder than ever. I just want to put on some good weight, really strengthen out my core and legs even more so I can, pick up a few miles an hour. And, I've been trying to develop a changeup for like the last 3-4 years. And, some days like a grip will feel good to me. Some days, it won't. So I've been tinkering around with it. I've been really working hard, just trying to get that third pitch down. Cause I feel like that if I can get that third pitch down where, I can throw it in any count, lefties, righties, kind of just command it wherever I want to. I feel like that could just take me to another level as a pitcher. So, I mean, I feel like, with my fastball slider right now, it's like 2+ pitches that I have, I can throw in any count to any hitter, I'm 100% confident in those, but I feel like that third pitch, as a starter, cause that's what I want to be at the next level, unless I'm told otherwise. But I mean, I feel like if I can pick up that third pitch, it would be huge for me. And, I'm just going to try and cut my walks down a little bit. I had a couple games this year, where I didn't have my best command that I normally do. So I really just want to, attack more and, just try and put myself in the best position, to hear my name called in June.
I guess really that's sort of going to come after the season, obviously. What's it going to take to, how do you go about going from your role? You had Pete last year kind of filling that number 1 spot, and he was the old man, the wise old guy on the staff.
Definitely.
What did you learn from him? How is that going to help you hopefully kind of take that same spot? This year, obviously the Mac's playing a little bit different schedule with the 3 single games versus the double headers. But, what would it mean to you to take that, opening game Friday, spot each weekend, and how can you kind of develop as a leader that way?
Right. No, I mean, yeah, when I came in here, Pete was the guy, and, he was my throwing partner like every day. So, I remember just getting after it with him every day with the long toss, the flat grounds, and just like, just trying to pick his brain. Cause like you said, he was the vet of the team, he had pitched in these big games for Ryder. So like he's been there, done that. So, And I mean, Pete is a worker, man. Like I've really never seen anybody work harder than him, in terms of like, his routine, how he goes about his stuff, like he has a routine and he just sticks to it, man. Like no matter what, like whether it's his weighted balls, his bands, his working out, so it was good to be able to, watch him for, 2020 and 2021, kind of just see what he does, as the ace of the staff. And I mean, you know, I mean, at Riverside and RCBC, like I was the ace of the staff. So like I've been an ace before, I pitched in those big games, I've gone toe to toe with, the other team's number ones. So, I mean, I think it's something I'm ready for, definitely. And, just pitching in big games now here at Ryder, I feel like, I have what it takes to be able to take the ball, every Friday against the team's number one and just, give ourselves a chance to win every week for sure.
Absolutely. Here with Frank Doelling, outstanding pitcher at Ryder. Coach Petrowski, you've of all the people at Ryder, that's probably the guy you've been with the longest, obviously, because you go back a year before Ryder with him. Mm-hmm. What's he meant to you career-wise, coach-wise, your development?
Yeah, I mean, he's meant a lot to me, man. Ever since I stepped foot on campus at RCBC, I mean, it was my first year there, as a freshman, and, he just took the job there. So, I mean, it was both our like first experiences, with, him coaching and me playing college baseball. And I mean, he went to Ryder and, I mean, he just knows like the art of pitching. Like he knows, what a pitcher has to do to be successful. And, I bought into all his like philosophies, getting the off speed over for strikes early. He really preaches that, being able to spot up your fastball on both sides of the plate and, just attacking, like, being aggressive, being that guy on the mound, that's going to dictate how your team does, So, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I had a great year at RCBC that year. I mean, and, he ended up taking the pitching coach job at Ryder. And so like my original plan was to go back to RCBC, hopefully try and improve off the good year I had my freshman year and, try and get drafted, my sophomore year. And, when he took the pitching coach job at Ryder, I was really happy for him. But I mean, I was kind of sad because like, damn, like I just got comfortable with this guy. I just had, one of my best seasons ever. So, it's going to be another new coach. And then he ended up giving me a call to come to Ryder. And, I went on a visit and, it just felt perfect. Like, being comfortable with him as my pitching coach, just being close to home, playing with all those guys in from South Jersey and the New Jersey area. It's been great. And, just being under him, for the last 3 years of my college career, I can really see like myself growing as a pitcher, year after year after year, just working on the things I have to work on. And, like this year, he's preaching us, again, he wants to be more physical, like as a pitching staff. So, we've been hitting the weight room, getting our throwing in. And I mean, he busts his butt, as a pitching coach every day. And I mean, I just want, to succeed for him because I mean, he demands the best out of us. So, I mean, that's what I'm going to give him for sure. He's meant a lot to me.
How have you grown as a pitcher from those early college days? Because he said that one of the things that I think he was on you at maybe it was the Siena game later in the year, and you kind of shoved back a little bit.
Yeah.
Guys like, all right, he's kind of turned that last corner there. But in your mind, how have you grown, to get ready for pitching at the next level?
Yeah, I mean, he's a competitor himself, as a pitching coach. Yeah. He's going to try and do anything he can, to win at all costs. And I love that about him because, I'm a competitor myself. When I'm on the mound, I try and stay stoic, make sure, I'm not really showing any emotion out there. But like, I mean, if I get out of like a tough jam or something, get like a big strikeout, like I'm going to show that emotion. Like I'm going to yell, like I'm going to be like, let's go and stuff like that, and he's the same way. So it's just great, just feeding off that competitive energy with him. I feel like it's like a perfect match. I mean, sometimes, just being like together for like 3 years, there's going to be times where you don't see eye to eye, with your coach or with your player or anyone or anybody, but, yeah, so he's just meant a lot to me, to say the least, man. Definitely.
We gotta finish with a little bit of Jen's talk, obviously.
Definitely.
You might have seen we did a little bit of winning this year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Congratulations.
Thank you. Your summer with the Gens, what is it? What do you look back on at that time? And just kind of look at it as a fun summer and how you kind of grew, player wise.
Yeah, definitely. Playing with the Generals that year was great. We had a great team, Dan Frake, I was playing with him since travel ball when I was younger. So he was like one of my close friends, Frank Doelling and Colin Iser, being the fellow Rider Bronx on the team, just like meeting all those guys and just playing baseball with them, it was just a great summer. I felt like we had a great team that year. Allentown also had a great team. They took us down in the semifinals, but playing that summer with the Generals was just awesome, man. I have nothing but good things to say.
Yeah, you and Dan were the dominant 1-2 combo for sure.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to him, a few days ago about that. And I was like, yeah, man, like I remember the strikeout record was like 47. And, I had broken it by 2. And I was like, dude, like I'm still like 40 strikeouts behind you. Like your record.
He broke it by 40. Yeah.
Yeah, it was unreal, man, So, I was just happy for him, just being able to shatter that record and, just being able to be like one of the best 1-2 punches, I guess, to say that, the Gens have ever had.
For sure. So again, Frank Doelling, thank you for taking the time here out of your day. We are super excited to see what you get done here at Rider this year. I know we will be out there, not sure whether it's the inter squads or Mercer or certainly sometime around the end of September, but best of luck, of course. And we are certainly always pulling for you.
Yeah, thanks, Ulch. Again, thanks for having me on here. And, I can't wait to see what next year holds, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Certainly is. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Jersey Baseball Show.